what to do with a giant shell and a map. Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. Well, it looks like we're off on another adventure, and yes indeed we are. We are going to be picking up the story of Marianne North and seeing if we can't just put a little piece of ephemera into the journal and have some fun. So I'm just going to point out where we are on the map with her story. So she's off to the Seychelles, and there they are, these little dotted islands just off of the coast of Africa. And Marianne North travelled from Marseille in France all the way to the Seychelles. I'm assuming she went through the Suez Canal and was able to get to them that way, but I haven't looked it up because otherwise that's a very long way round. In any case, it's a jolly long journey when you're stuck in a corset on board a ship in 1883. Okay, so for anybody just joining in, we are going to be having a look inside this Marianne North journal. So this journal has been created out of a shrunken sweater. It was my husband's. I shrunk it in the wash, and if you want to follow along and see exactly how this soft journal was made, you can have a look in the playlist for the Marianne North journal, and it was made for December in this last December we've just had in 2022. So you can see here that I have been using some felting techniques, and that is something that I taught myself to do when I wasn't feeling very well, and I brought you all along for the journey of that. In fact, everything here has been shown on the video. I don't think I've done anything off camera. It's all in here. So what I'm doing is trying to find a page here that just feels like it might be the next leg of her journey. Now this journal, unfortunately, because it's an intuitive journal, it's my personal piece of work here, it hasn't got all of the journey in order, so I've been bouncing around in the journal. Now I know full well that Marianne North would not approve of that. She does like to have everything in an order. However, I have told her story in order on the YouTube channel, so you'll be able to find the playlist there. But I think that this is a really lovely page. It's got this lovely pink tones here, it's got this flip out, and I've actually given it some shimmers with some rose gold. I don't know if that picks up on the camera, but you may be able to see a little shimmer there. It's just really pretty, and that reminds me of a shell, as does the word Seychelles. I can't help myself, it sounds like a shell, so that's where my brain went, and I have this giant shell. It just looks really special on that page. I just think that that's lovely, so I'm going to do something there. It is just a printed off royalty-free image from the computer. I've had it a long time with the thought of doing something else with it, and I never did that. I have kept it, but I think it was too big, but for that journal it's perfect. Then I've got this map that I want to use up, and I want to have the Seychelles, so I just thought I'm going to back this with some map to create, well, give it a bit of strength, because this is a nice thick piece of paper here from an atlas. And I'm just going to do some simple gluing on. I don't like this side, so we're going to cover that up and hopefully get the Seychelles onto the shell there so we can see exactly where it is, because not everybody recognises where the Seychelles are. We think we know, and then we don't. We sort of think they might be over here, but they're here. So I'm going to keep that so we know exactly where we are. So we're going to use some good old stick glue, and I'm just going to glue this down. But before I do that, I might just ink around. Okay, so before I start sticking things together and inking round edges, which can be a little bit dull, and we've all seen that before, I'm just going to see if I can make this a little bit more of a vintage feel with some brown ink and my ink blending tool. I just wondered if I could just take away the modern colours. I've got Vintage Photo, just a water reactive ink, and I'm just going to see if I can just rough it up a bit, muddy it up and give it some age, layer on that grunge, or give it some character, so it feels like it's been places. It feels like it's a little bit of an old world. Let's take it back in time. Let's go back in time. Let's relax into the craft and just forget about the day. Don't look at the news. Don't look at anything that's going to wind you up today. Just settle in to a quiet craft in your quiet space and just relax into a slow process, something that's really, really straightforward. And if you're finding that you've got a bit of a crafting mental block, or you just can't get into a project, then this is quite a nice way just to sit and do something monotonous. And it's in boredom that our brains start to switch over to something else entirely. And then we allow other thoughts to come in, and that's where creativity seems to take over. So if you think that you can't come up with any crafting, creative, artistic ideas, just think you don't actually have to, because it's going to be your subconscious that does all of that for you. You just need to do something monotonous and then your body will take over. That's what I find anyway. That's what I'm hoping will happen here, because I've been cold today. And when I'm cold, I feel like I can't create because I think my body's trying to conserve energy or something, and I just don't relax into it. So that's a starting point, isn't it? Let's get some glue on here and see what we can make. We'll listen to the next part of the story as well, because Marianne was in Africa. So Marianne has left Africa, southern Africa. She's gone back to England and she's asked for a new extension onto her gallery, and that's because she's come back with 100 extra paintings to put into the gallery. And so let's listen to the next part of the story, just as I'm gently just gluing down paper to paper and relaxing and ultimately getting some more ideas for the journal. In September 1883, Marianne left England for the Seychelles to paint the portrait of one of the most famous palms in the world, the Coca de Mer, or double coconut. This palm naturally occurs only on 2 islands of the Seychelles and has the distinction of having the heaviest seed of any plant. One nut may weigh 40 pounds or more. At daybreak on the 13th of October, Marianne landed at Mahé and was yet again delighted with all the new sights around her. In particular, she was excited by the exquisite crabs with turquoise bodies and red legs, the spiders who were rampant and enormous, and the gigantic tortoises that many people kept as pets. A sign of wealth, as it would appear. Everywhere the plants grew with a particular luxuriance. There were lovely cinnamon and clove trees, screw pines with their strange prop of stilt-like roots, orchids, ferns, breadfruit, coconut, and other trees quite laden with fruit. However, she was critical of the native people, who were, in her opinion, lazy to collect the fruit which lay rotting on the ground. She was depressed too by the vanilla plantations, which were sadly neglected and found many people on the verge of starvation. If only they knew how to cultivate this correctly, she noted in her journal. Vanilla being such a commodity would have turned their fortunes around in no time at all. After a week at Government House, Marianne was glad to leave Mahé, a land of squabbles and how not to do it. She left for Praslin. Here she was welcomed by Dr. and Mrs. Hode, the only educated specimens on the island, she noted, who took her to see the objects of her visit, a great valley, as big as old Hastings, filled with nearly 1,000 palm trees looking like brilliant yellow stars. More specimens were seen on further excursions, and in great excitement she wrote to her friends and included a pen and ink sketch showing herself perched precariously on a pile of boulders, painting a fabulous palm. She wrote, "I know if cramp had seized me, you would see little more of your friend." The nuts were like gigantic mahogany acorns, and the jelly inside, enough to fill an ordinary soup tureen, was good enough to eat in moderation. The diet in the Seychelles was intriguing. No bread and rarely any meat, but quantities of roast breadfruit, cassava wafers, shellfish soup, stewed bananas. She wrote in her journal, "Tonight we are having a curry of the long arms of an octopus. I have seen the thing and mean to like it." The mangoes were as good as any she had tasted, and the wild raspberries brought down from the hills in baskets made of banana leaves were delicious, stewed and served with cream. Of the many islands she visited, Praslin was the most perfect situation I ever was in, she noted. Marianne delighted in paddling without shoes and stockings, but the pina shells and coral were like knives and spoilt the fun rather. It was while in the Seychelles that she made a study of a tree which afterwards was declared by Sir Joseph Hooker at Kew Gardens to be a new species, and it was named after Marianne, Northia Seychelliana, after Marianne North. Then Marianne's health began to break down seriously. All those months and years of travelling, often getting soaked through and sometimes not eating properly, had taken their toll. She was 53 years of age, her rheumatism was getting worse, and her deafness was increasing, and her nerves, as she put it, or what has been described as some sort of paranoid condition, were causing her to hear voices. Because of some deaths of smallpox, she was unable to return home and agreed to go into quarantine on Long Island with some of her other passengers and some friends that she had made. This, however, lasted only 10 days, and Marianne painted tirelessly because they were allowed to be outside. But it was here that she became very disturbed and began to imagine all sorts of tricks being played on her. People seemed to be mocking her and screaming with laughter at her expense. She thought they let rats loose in her room and believed people were going to rob her or murder her. So she barricaded herself in and stitched all her money into her clothes. It was a nightmare, and one that she would never forget. Eventually, Marianne was back in England. She tried to forget those terrible days, which strangely she half realised was some sort of delusion brought on by malnourishment and overworking herself. She busied herself at Kew, arranging her paintings in the new room which had been built at the back of the gallery at her expense. It was in August that a great pleasure came to Marianne in the form of a letter from Queen Victoria, written by her private secretary, Sir Henry Ponsonby. The Queen regarded that there was no way of publicly acknowledging Miss North's great gift to the nation, but asked her to accept a signed photograph of Her Majesty as a token of her esteem and recognition of Marianne's generosity. This, of course, was the gift of 800 botanical paintings and the gallery which allowed the public to be one step closer to nature all around the world. There was one more journey to be undertaken, though. Much against the advice of her family and friends, Marianne sets off once more in August for Chile, determined to paint 2 special trees, one of which was the monkey puzzle tree. And there we go, a little vintage fish just to add to that, because I think Marianne was having a bit of a tough time towards the end there, and sometimes when we're having a tough day we just need to put something down that makes us smile, and for me it's always a fun vintage fish. So there we go, I think we'll just add that in there, burnish it in with the bone folder on a few of these 2 stickers which I think are great. And this is a little vintage style collage made from modern materials. This is book page cutout, 2 stickers and or 3 stickers, and then a bit of digital kit, some text, and this map which we've made to look old even though that was a modern paper from a book. None of it is unachievable to find. These are junk shop finds, and then you may have stickers in your stash anyway. I do recommend getting a pack of butterfly stickers. You can't really go wrong. And if you find some vintage stamps as well, we are going to be looking at stamps more because they are just the king of ephemera in my opinion. I think they just brighten any kind of collage and allow you to set the tone with some fun little images there. So that's it, the Indian Ocean, that's where she's been, and this allows for some amazing journaling space. So don't cover up that effect that was made with watercolour paint. And there you go, that is the shell signifying the Indian Ocean, the Seychelles, and all those discoveries that she made there. And then what I'll do is I'll find some postcards that she has of paintings from that time, and that will be the portion of that time when she was there in 1883. So it is all coming together now. There are very few pages left in this journal. There are very few stories to tell. This is an ephemera journal where I can add my ideas, and I will be adding to that throughout the year when there is certain Victorian style or something that I want to add. It can come and live in here because there's going to be spaces, there's pockets and things. There's another fish as well. So if you haven't been following along, do have a look at the playlist. You'll be able to find all the makes that have created this journal, very special treasured page journal, and it is so chunky now, guys. But that's me letting go. Oh, hang on, let's come back out. Whee! Okay, there you can see that we're probably going to want some sort of band to hold it all together, but so much fun, so many arty bits that have gone into there to just create a really tactile journal. And I love sitting here looking at it. It's just fabulous. So there we go. I urge you to make your own, and if not, just play with some ephemera pieces and add it to an existing book that you already have. Nothing to stop you removing some of the pages so that you don't have this gator mouth happening. But yeah, just add some interesting things to where you might want to add your journal. You can, of course, put an irregular shape onto a folded over piece. So even if you've got a straightforward notebook, you might just want to fold over, give yourself a fold over, even if that shortens the page. That's interesting. And then cut out an irregular shape. You'll be able to turn over, and you'll be able to write on there as well if you keep it plain. It's entirely up to you. I just wanted to see the map. I thought that was pretty, and then I can use that as writing space there. I've also put a vintage edge around here, but what I think I'll do is maybe some watercolour paint or something over there. Something blue to signify the ocean, which surrounds all these wonderful islands in the Seychelles. I hope you've had fun there, and we've had a nice time in the Seychelles. She goes back to England, and then she goes back to Chile, so she's not too perturbed by her events and some of the worries and the anxieties that she experiences. She does have a break, and then she has just fueled on with this unquestionable spirit to keep going, to complete the project. And the project is to get this gallery with all of the specimen and plants, all the special things. And if something's missing, she will move heaven and earth to go and get it done and make sure she's got her collection, even if it kills her. That woman is a trooper. So there we go. I hope that we can all take a bit of Marianne North energy forward with us this week and allow us to just keep going no matter what you're going through. Just take on that Marianne North mentality of let's work through it and keep going. So the prize winners for the 5,000 subscribers. Okay guys, I've recently been celebrating the 5,000 subscribers for the channel and I wanted to honour that with a giveaway, and you have very kindly added some comments and you've told me where you're from and you've left the most wonderful messages. So I'm now going to pick 5 winners from the comments on the last video celebrating the 5,000, and what I'm giving away is Marianne North wrapping paper, Marianne North postcards and some ephemera papers. There's going to be 5 paper packs going out. Okay, and this was roughly a sort of a sample pack that I was putting together. So a couple of cards, and I've got some real lovely, this is antique. I've got rag paper coming out to people. We've got vintage music paper, ledger paper, all sorts of bits and bobs, book pages and things. Things that you'll be able to use, and then the Marianne North gift wrap paper. So it's a flat pack of papers to use, and it will be a mystery pack, so everyone's going to be different depending on what I have to hand. But this is another one that we haven't seen before, so this is beautiful. I've got 5, so they're going to be coming out to the winners. So let's pick the winners. Alright, so on my yellow phone we will do the comment picking and find out who the winner is. Here we go. The first one is Lulu Fabric. Thank you for the freebies. Merci. Well done, Lulu. Thank you very much for your comments. There's been a few comments from you in the last few weeks and that has been wonderful. I'm just going to note down the winners here so that I know who to look out for. Okay, in the usual way you need to email me and then you can claim your prize. Let me know your address and I will send you out a pack to craft with. Okay, pick another winner. Next winner. Oh, pick another winner. Okay, for the pack number 2 we are going to see Annette Neepel, and you are from Iowa in the USA. Okay, Annette, so you need to email me your address and that will be coming out to you, the ephemera pack. Okay, picking number 3. Here we go. Good luck, everybody. And we've got SCGal51. Your quiet crafting space is a lovely space to spend time. Yes, it is indeed. I am trying to reorganise my crafting space for the 12th time. The 12th time? I think I'm on my 99th time. So it can be quiet, but it is also chaotic, yes. However, the creative process is often chaotic, isn't it? Yes, it is. Congratulations on 5,000 subscribers. Well done, Melanie. Here's to 5,000 more in a short time. Well, who knows? But it is lovely to have you all watching and commenting, and thank you so much. Well, I'm here to inspire as many people as I can, spread kindness and friendship, and above everything else just to hold out a hand and say you can do this, you've got this, give it a go, and just feel better about your world, and help people to feel better about their creativity and have a go. And junk journaling definitely does that, doesn't it? It's a gateway into other things, and it's a relaxing time just to spend with yourself and have some quiet thoughts. All right, guys, we're doing well. So we've had 3. Let's pick for number 4. KN54, yes, lovely. KN54, a significant milestone. Congratulations and many thanks for all the work you put into your journals, the beautiful how-tos and your journey that you share. And I've got the same issue with scribble paper. Can't find any. That's hilarious. Yes, I've got you all on this list. It's my do it now list. P.S. I have a Savannah. Oh yes, I have a Savannah food dryer with rectangular shelving. I just pop my papers etc. in that, turn it onto the lowest setting and leave it for an hour or two. Fantastic. So you dehydrate your papers. That's really cool. Okay, that is a good tip. Thanks for that. Okay, I love that. I love it when you come up with these lovely little ideas that I haven't even considered. So I don't actually have a food hydrator. I try where possible not to use any electric power if I can help it, just to keep costs down, because in the UK at the moment we are having an electricity crisis, unfortunately, because of events outside of our control that do involve Russia. So we are sitting at home. I'm currently wearing a woolly hat. We have no heating on and it's freezing. So I try not to use the electricity, but that's a brilliant idea, isn't it? Because we all want speed and we want quick things. And sometimes when I've got the oven going and I've been cooking or baking something like a jacket potato, I will use the residual heat to dry papers off in there. But yeah, leaving them out to dry over the course of a few hours obviously works as well. It's all about patience, I think. Sometimes we don't have enough. Right, I'm picking the last winner, guys. Here we go. Last winner for paper pack number 5. Anita Jensen. Oh, you do. Oh, and you're from the Netherlands, so you comment lots with your little emojis. I love that. So brilliant. I love all your videos and your podcasts. I always look forward to the next videos. The podcasts I listen to when I do slow stitching. Oh, how perfect is that? Yes, so the podcast is coming along nicely. I'm on season 2, and if anybody is wanting to find that, you should be able to find it more easily now just by typing in the treasured page. So I have been allowed to have my official name, whereas before it was the treasured paper, which is ridiculous. So now we are the treasured page, and that's all been checked and I'm allowed to have that. So there we go. If you are looking for the podcast, we are just starting season 2, and I shall be giving more behind the scenes activities of what I get up to prior to putting out videos, so sometimes you'll hear a little bit more about my life going on in the background. If that's of any interest to you, then head over to the podcast. Depending on my schedule, I definitely try to put out podcasts twice a week, and that's usually in the week, not the weekends. Okay guys, so that is everybody. Wow, I've got 5. Yes, I have, so I'm just going to write Anita on here as well. So congratulations to the winners, and there we are. I hope you've all enjoyed the Marianne North story. We are going to have another one going to Chile, and then we'll find out about her latter years, which is in England, and we'll find out where she settles and what she does when she finally settles. So what Marianne North doesn't settle, we know that. She is not even settled until even on the day that she passes away. She is still active and on the go. But we will hear all about this incredible woman, and we will take that forwards. So, okay, I will leave you there, and I will be back very, very soon. I've got scrap busting, ephemera, lots of ideas, lots of things coming up. So if you found fun and value here, do please like and subscribe to the channel, and listen out for more stories and different topics and different journals that we will be making. We're going to be building a journal over the year, and that is going to be starting on the 1st of March. So if you're interested in making a journal with me over the year and having a project once a month, tune in on the 1st of every month for your next challenge. Okay everybody, thanks for watching, and above everything else, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.